welcome to the Indie Brew Show, where we spill the tea on indie games. My name is Beck, and today we are going to kick things off with an overflowing cup of freshly brewed news this week. This is Freshly Brewed.
Freshly Brewed.
Asus and Microsoft have teamed up to bring us the ROG Xbox Ally, a handheld gaming PC designed to pack serious power into a portable form. Officially unveiled in the Xbox Direct, this device blends the best of Windows gaming with the Xbox ecosystem, giving us access to thousands of games wherever we go. The ROG Xbox Ally comes in two versions, the standard model with an AMD Ryzen Z2 processor, 16GB of RAM, and 512GB of storage, and the beefed up Ally X variant with an AMD Ryzen Z2 Extreme chip, 24GB of RAM, and a terabyte of storage. Both feature a vibrant 7-inch 1080p display running at 120Hz with variable refresh rate, so your gameplay looks smooth and crisp. What makes the Ally stand out? Well, Xbox Game Pass is built right in, letting you stream and download a massive library of games. Plus, it supports Xbox Cloud Gaming and Remote Play, so you can pick up your gaming session on the go or at home seamlessly. The custom Xbox interface also ties together your PC and Xbox games from Steam, Epic Games Store, and more. Set to launch in time for the 2025 holiday season, the ROG Xbox Ally looks like a must-have for gamers who want PC power in their hands anytime, anywhere. In this game, players are challenged to arrange seating for a variety of quirky characters, each with their own unique preferences and pet peeves. Whether it's a cinema, a crowded bus, a wedding reception, or a cramped taxicab, every setting introduces new characters with specific tastes. This game is called Is This Seat Taken? And it features warm hand-drawn visuals, quirky humour, and heartfelt storytelling, making it more than just a puzzle game. It's a journey about belonging, connection, and embracing differences. Players must consider individual needs, such as wanting to sit next to a parent or avoiding bad smells, to successfully complete each level. Is This Seat Taken is set to release on Steam, Google Play, and the App Store in August, but a demo is currently available on Steam for those eager to experience the game's charming mechanics firsthand. Voyages of Nira is sailing onto Steam August 4th, bringing whimsical nautical adventure and light strategy together in one beautifully illustrated indie game. You'll command a ship full of misfit voyagers, manage your crew, and explore the magical ocean world of Nira. The game blends some typical survival crafter elements with character interactions, discoveries, and resource management. Think Raft meets Valheim, but on the ocean, and with a deeply story-driven tone. Each voyage will see you faced with different decisions, some silly and some serious, that will shape the fate of your crew and the future of your sea. You can dive into Voyages of Nira from August 4th. Planet of Lana captured hearts with its breathtaking visuals, touching friendships, and hand-painted alien world. Now, developer Wishfully is ready to take us back with Planet of Lana 2, Children of the Leaf, officially coming in 2026. Set after the events of the original game, this cinematic side-scrolling adventure brings back Lana and her loyal companion Mew for a brand new journey. Expect more intricate puzzles, expanded traversal, and an emotional story that dives deeper into the planet's mysterious history. This time, the environments are more varied than ever, spanning snow-covered peaks, dense jungles, and ocean depths. The sequel also promises a longer runtime, fresh mechanics, and that same painterly art style that made the original feel like a playable Studio Ghibli film. And yes, the composer will be returning to score the adventure with another unforgettable soundtrack. If you love the heartfelt pacing and companion-driven gameplay of the first Planet of Lana, this sequel looks to evolve everything without losing its quiet magic. A huge free content update for Little Kitty Big City is set to launch this summer. This update will introduce the ability to customize your kitty, changing the color of your fur and adding different markings too. To capture all of the new kitty goodness, a new photo mode is coming, and there will be new parts of the neighborhood to explore and even some new characters to meet. This looks set to be a great update to the game, and they've teased it's heading our way soon. And did we mention there'll be more hats to collect too? Dinosaur Polo Club has added a long-requested creative mode to mini motorways, letting players build traffic networks with no time pressure or failure conditions. This update is a huge win for fans who love the game's minimalistic design and want more freedom to experiment. Now you can pause time, place roads at your leisure, and sculpt the perfect city layout without worrying about overwhelmed intersections or game-ending congestion. It's ideal for relaxing play sessions or perfecting a new strategy before jumping back into normal mode. This update breathes new life into the already beloved puzzle sim and makes mini motorways even more approachable for players looking for meditative design tools. The third entry in one of the most iconic puzzle series in gaming is finally coming to PC. Monument Valley 3 launches on Steam July 22nd, continuing the franchise's signature blend of impossible geometry, meditative puzzles, and silent emotional storytelling. This new chapter introduces a mother-daughter narrative, expanding on the series' quiet reflections on connection and growth. Players can expect new puzzle mechanics and visual illusions that continue to play with perspective in jaw-dropping ways. Whether you're a long-time fan or brand new to the series, this is shaping up to be a standout moment in cozy puzzle gaming. Hotel Galactic has announced it is opening for business on July 24th, bringing Studio Ghibli vibes to the world of management sims. You run a cozy intergalactic inn for a rotating cast of charming alien guests. You'll build new rooms, upgrade the hotel's amenities, and hire staff while dealing with oddball visitors and cosmic events. There's no combat, minimal stress, and a lot of pure creative expression and small-scale storytelling. Perfect for fans of games like Spiritfarer or Bear and Breakfast. Discounty is a bizarre and hilarious management sim where you run a supermarket in a town full of strange customers and stranger secrets. Launching August 21st, this offbeat game mixes business simulation with quirky storytelling and absurd humour. You'll stock shelves, handle unruly customers, adjust prices, and uncover odd goings-on in the town of Blomquist. The aesthetic is low poly and bright, and the gameplay walks the line between relaxing retail sim and narrative chaos. If you're into games that seem wholesome on the surface but have a weird twist underneath, Discounty is one to watch. The team behind the viral sandbox game Gauntlet's has announced Gauntlet's Together, a cozy multiplayer spin-off built around the same stress-free city-building charm. You and your friends can now grow adorable little towns together, complete with relaxing terrain tools, train station, and those ever-charming Gaud citizens. The original game focused on chill vibes and playful creativity, and Together brings that same energy but into a shared space. There's no combat, no resource grinding, just pure building, decorating, and watching your Gauntlets enjoy the world you've made. If you've ever wanted to vibe in a lo-fi builder with pals, this might be your dream game. No release date yet for this one, but make sure to wishlist it to stay up to date with all of the news. If you've ever lost hours rearranging furniture in your favourite sim game, Make Room might be your next obsession. Releasing August 7th, this peaceful diorama builder lets you create cozy rooms, organize clutter, and decorate tiny spaces exactly how you like them. It's all about the joy of tidying and styling. Stack books, arrange plants, set up desks and beds, everything has a place, and it's up to you to make it perfect. With no timers, goals, or pressures, Make Room offers a deeply relaxing gameplay loop for anyone who finds comfort in neatness and aesthetic control. There's a charming visual style with a satisfying sound design, and the minimalist approach makes it ideal for winding down after a long day. The first trailer for Age of the Deep has surfaced, and it's already making waves. Age of the Deep invites you to explore the mysterious underwater world of Hathana as a fierce merfolk warrior fighting for survival. This upcoming action RPG blends beautiful oceanic exploration with intense combat and deep storytelling, all set against a backdrop of a world on the brink of collapse. You'll traverse vibrant coral reefs, ancient shipwrecks, and forgotten ruins, while meeting complex factions that shape the fate of the seas. Along the way, customize your mermaid with unique weapons, gear, and abilities, tailoring your playstyle as you unravel the secrets of this immersive aquatic realm. The chaotic, stylish underworld of Syntopia is opening its gates this September. After gaining attention during early demos, this hellish management sim is ready to take center stage. You play as a newly promoted demon, tasked with restoring order to Hell's crumbling infrastructure. Balancing paperwork, punishing the damned, and navigating ridiculous workplace politics is all in a day's work. With its slick visuals, snarky writing, and satisfying systems, Syntopia feels like a blend of Hades and 2 Point Hospital, but with more fire and sarcasm. If you're into dark humour and cleverly layered sim gameplay, this one is a must-watch. Cozy farming sims are getting a magical new edition this August with the release date announcement for Ritual of Raven. Developed by Spellgarden Games and published by Team 17, this enchanting witchy farming adventure is set to launch on August 7th on Nintendo Switch and PC. After falling through a portal in a world destabilized by magic gone Ori, you'll team up with a local witch named Sage to restore balance and find her missing familiar Flufferstoop. Along the way, you'll interact with a charming cast of characters, customize your farm, and harness the phases of the moon to boost your harvest and rituals. A free demo is currently available through Steam Next Fest, giving you a sneak peek before the full release this August. Make sure to add it to your wishlist and get ready to step into the magical world on August 7th. After years of anticipation, Paralives finally has a release date, December 8th. This hotly awaited life sim lets you design homes, create characters, aka parafolks, and manage their lives in a fully customizable, cozy world. You can resize furniture, build room by room, and tweak every detail with total freedom. No tile restrictions inside. The character creator, aka the Power Maker, lets you fine-tune everything from physical features to personality traits, with a focus on inclusivity and expression. Whether you're building a rustic farmhouse or orchestrating messy love triangles, Paralives gives players the tools to tell their own stories. With its vibrant aesthetic, detailed systems, and transparent dev process, Paralives is shaping up to be a true alternative to The Sims and a new benchmark for the genre. Orchestra Victoria is set to enchant audiences with Indie Symphony 2, a live concert celebrating the music of beloved indie video games. Following the success of their 2023 performance, this year's event promises a fresh selection of compositions from fan-favourite titles performed by the talented musicians of Orchestra Victoria. The concert will feature world premieres and new arrangements, offering a unique auditory experience that highlights the emotional depth and artistic merit of video game soundtracks. You'll be treated to arrangements of soundtracks from games like Baldur's Gate 3, Undertale, Hades 2, Slay the Spire, and more. Indie Symphony 2 will be taking place at Haber Hall on July 3rd and 4th, 2025, and tickets are available now through Orchestra Victoria's official website. This upcoming title is a psychological horror experience where you play as a night watch at the Museum of Animated Modern Art. Your job is to monitor security camera feeds and report any changes in the paintings. However, as the night progresses, the line between reality and illusion blurs, leading to feelings of paranoia, loneliness, and alienation. The game draws inspiration from the works of American painter Edward Hopper, enhancing its eerie atmosphere, and it's looking pretty creepy. This game is called Please Watch the Artwork, and it was announced during the day of the Dev Showcase. Make sure to head to Steam and give this one a wishlist because it looks really interesting. Are you looking for something new to pick up this week? Well, we've got you covered. Here's what's on the menu. Before the valleys were bustling with tourists and cargo, they were blueprints, quiet stretches of countryside where the very first tracks were laid. Train Valley Origin takes you back to those early days in a minimalist, puzzle-driven prequel to the beloved series. It's all about efficiency and timing. You'll build tracks, guide trains, and avoid costly crashes while working with an increasing complex rail network. The art style is warm and tidy with a handcrafted diorama feel that adds to its meditative charm. But don't be fooled, it will make your brain sweat. You can get on board Train Valley Origins June 12th. Locked in a demonic prison and hunted by hordes of Hellspawn, Hellbreak throws you headfirst into a stylish, blood-pumping roguelite where every room is a fight for your freedom. You play as a damned soul trying to punch, shoot, and blast your way out of the underworld, and it's anything but a smooth ride. You can play Hellbreak from June 12th. The Altars is a hard sci-fi survival game with a haunting core idea. What if you could create alternate versions of yourself, each tailored to a different life path? You play as Jan, a lone astronaut stranded on a toxic planet with only a mobile base and a machine that can clone you, kind of. Each altar is a reflection of what your life could have been. Engineer Jan, Botanist Jan, Coward Jan, Brave Jan. They're not NPCs, they're actually characters with their own personalities, trauma, and opinion. This one is looking incredible, and you can jump into the Altars from June 13th.
Bargain Brews!
If you're looking to get the most bang for your buck this week, we've got you covered. Here are some wallet-friendly picks, aka Bargain Brews. Light Your Frontier, the space-themed farming sim, is coming in at 40% off. This is to line up with its next big update, so this is definitely one worth checking out. Planet of Lana is 75% off after the news of the second game. This is definitely one worth picking up now while it's on sale, so you can experience the magic before we get any more news about the second game. Book of Hours is coming in at 30% off. This one is perfect for those book lovers with the library management kind of feel. Die in the Dungeon is 25% off. Satisfactory, the factory automation game, is 30% off, and you can pick up the puzzle game Dwarf Romantic for 30% off. For this week's backlog, as I am solo today, I'm going to be talking about one game I want to get off my backlog and one game that you should get off yours. So first up, a game that I really need to play. This is kind of embarrassing actually, how I have not played this game. But the game I'm talking about is Papers, Please. So Papers, Please is a cult classic that has basically spawned all of these like spin-offs with serial mechanics. It's almost formed like its own genre, which is ridiculous. And I have not actually played the original game. So I've played a lot of games that have kind of have Paper Please-esque mechanics like Little Guardsman, but I haven't actually played the original. And I am familiar with the concept, so if you're not, Papers, Please is essentially a puzzle game where you man the border and you need to decide whether or not to let people cross through. And to do that, you need to check off their passports and pretty much make sure that the conditions of entry to the country are met. Now, this original game came out in 2013 and it is set in Russia in the 80s, I believe. So it does have that kind of political kind of feel underlying, you know, Cold War kind of era. So it's definitely interesting. I mean, it's a classic game for a reason, and it's inspired a lot of other games for a reason. So it's definitely one I really need to play. It's almost embarrassing at this point. So convince me. If you've played Papers, Please, tell me why I need to play that game in the comments. If you haven't played Oddsparks yet, then you are absolutely missing out. Oddsparks is an adventure game, but it's also crossed with an automation game. So it's part action adventure, part automation. It is multiplayer, so you can play co-op. Basically, you play as this person who has this random thing crash into your shed, and before you know it, you're drawn into this magical world with sparks and ancient relics and teleporters and all sorts of just crazy things. So you find this relic that's crashed into your shed. You go and uncover a whole bunch of different things and activate this mysterious shrine in the middle of your town. Now, your town is pretty on the closed off side, so no one ventures out into the woods, which is where the magic really happens. So you are tasked with exploring the land and figuring out who these sparks are, where they came from, what the history is, and how there's like this whole ancient shrine in the middle of your town. It has a lot of resource gathering and things like that. But the cool thing is that you can actually create your own sparks, which can then act as like your little go-doers, your little gophers, and they can collect resource for you. You can set up paths so that they can carry resources from one section to another, and you can set up a whole bunch of buildings and things like that to completely automate your resource gathering. You can set up choppers to cut down wood, you can set up sawmills to cut that wood and turn it into other things, and basically you can go pretty crazy with your automation plans. Automation isn't for everyone, but that's where this game is really great because it actually combines a lot of adventure in there too. You actually need to explore this pretty huge map. You need to fight different creatures and monsters that you'll come across, and you need to figure out where to collect different resources and uncover all of these ancient shrines that will give you different types of sparks. This game has just dropped in 1.0, so now the entire map is available to explore, and it is pretty huge. I have actually personally spent over 50 hours in this game, and I'm keen to spend another 50 more in the next playthrough that I do, which may or may not be happening right now. So definitely one to check out if it's on your backlog. It should not be there, but be prepared to sink a serious amount of time into this one. We all know how crazily overwhelming the game releases can be at the moment, and there are so many incredible games that are just slipping through the cracks. So this section is all about highlighting games that we think are flying under the radar and deserve a lot more love. If you love a good cozy exploration game with a decent dose of story in there, then Pine Hearts is absolutely a game you need to check out. This one sees you play as a character returning to the campsite that they used to stay at with their dad when they were a kid. So you journey back to this campsite and you basically want to climb to the top of this mountain where you and your dad used to climb to together. But of course, nothing ever goes to plan, the gates are locked, and you basically need to venture and explore throughout the campsite to be able to open that up so that you can go and complete your goal. So this game is filled with a ton of quirky characters that you interact with. A lot of the game is quest-based, so you will meet different people and they will require different things. So they might require you to collect different things or talk to different people, that kind of thing. And as you go, you explore different areas and you actually have these really wholesome moments where you remember something you learned with your dad. And this is how the skill unlocks work in this game. So at first, you don't really remember any of your wilderness survival skills or anything like that, but as you progress, you remember these moments with your dad. And so you remember how to cut down trees, you remember how to walk over slippery logs, you remember all of these things with your dad, and you actually learn them through these really cute hand-drawn flashback scenes, which are just so heartwarming and so adorable. So as you progress, you unlock new areas by learning those skills, and then you can eventually make your way to the top of this mountain. There is dogs in this game that you can pat, and there's a whole bunch of just wholesome goodness, a little bit of puzzle elements, a little bit of kind of almost platformy exploration, really, really cool graphic style, and an incredible soundtrack, and is definitely one that is not getting anywhere near as much love as it deserves. So if you love a cozy exploration game, this is one worth checking out. If you're looking for a good party game to play with some friends, then this next game is an absolutely criminally underrated one that needs to go on your list. Out of Space is a spaceship cleaning simulation game, stay with me, where you and up to 3 friends will clean different spaceships. Now, the cleaning isn't your typical cleaning, as each of these spaceships has been infested by these weird alien monster pimple things that just explode and launch bugs everywhere. And basically, you need to work your way through this spaceship, cleaning room by room until the entire spaceship is sparkly clean. This one has a lot of chaos in it, to say the least, and each of your players will need to maintain their energy levels and their hunger and their cleanliness. So you need to make sure that you are eating food, you need to make sure that you have somewhere to rest, and you need to make sure that you can wash all of the bug goop off you. Otherwise you will literally turn into a cocoon, which is not fun for anyone. But pretty much you use water to clean a lot of the goop off the floor, and you use a mop to clean a lot of the goop off the floor, and yeah, you just need to clean all of the goop. What could possibly go wrong? To be able to keep your rooms bug free, you need to make sure they're each powered. So you need to put a battery in each of your rooms, and that will activate any powered stations in there. So you can get different appliances and different things that help make cleaning a lot easier. You can get things like beds for resting or couches for resting. You can get things like microwaves so you can make meals. You can also grow pumpkins to be able to eat, and you can grind any bugs or rubbish that you find to be able to generate coins. This one is so much fun. It's one of the best co-op chaos multiplayer party games I've played, and it's one that I regularly go back to when I'm just looking for something to play for a couple of hours with some friends. This is definitely one worth checking out if you're looking for a new party game. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty overloaded after Summer Games Fest and all of the announcements we got. So I thought for this week's One to Watch, we would feature 10 games that were featured over the weekend in some capacity that are ones that I think are worth watching. So we're going to kick this off with a climbing game called Can. Now this one is a climbing simulation game, a rock climbing simulation game, and it sees you use these different complex mechanics to basically control like each arm, each leg, and climb all of these different rock faces. It's got this really cool kind of style to it, and it's just a whole vibe, but it's also quite challenging because obviously you have things like fatigue and other things like that that really make this a more interesting journey. It's definitely a more realistic rock climbing sim as opposed to something like Jusant, which also was a fantastic game. But this one seems to take a more realistic approach and requires you to manage a few more things differently and has a much higher difficulty setting, which is not a bad thing in a lot of ways. It is coming out in November and there is a demo out for it as well. So go and check that out. And while you're there, add it to your wish list because this is absolutely one to watch. If you're looking for an atmospheric exploration, journey, adventure kind of game, then Herdling is absolutely one worth checking out. You'll head out on a grand alpine expedition with a herd of lovable beasts, but of course, things are never as simple as they seem. As you wind your way through this mountainous path, you'll find dangers and obstacles that kind of get in the way as you try and make your way to the summit. So you will guide all of these creatures of calicorns, as they're called, and you will find yourself traversing some pretty stunning mountainscapes. And of course, you need to make sure your herding skills are on point for this one, but it absolutely looks incredible. The graphics are phenomenal and it looks stunning. This is definitely one to watch. If you're looking for a co-op adventure game that isn't a typical survival crafter or anything like that, then this game is definitely one to watch. Hella sees you play as a brave mouse in an enchanting 3D adventure. You'll explore breathtaking Scandinavian-inspired landscapes, solving puzzles, and kind of being a force for good in this heartwarming story. This one is co-op, so it does have similar vibes to things like Split Fiction, It Takes Two, those really platform-esque with some similar kind of platformy exploration mechanics in there. And it really does encourage you to work together with another player to be able to navigate this world, solve the puzzles, and progress. That being said, you can play this one solo. It's not absolutely necessary to have a co-op player, but it is definitely one that is more optimized for co-op. This one is absolutely stunning and is definitely worth a look if you love a good co-op adventure. Tycoon or management lovers, this next pick is for you, and it sees you build your very own golf course. Under Par Golf Architect is a golf course building game, and you will essentially be building and managing your own golfing paradise. If you liked games like Sid Meier's Sim Golf or even Roller Coaster Tycoon, this will be right up your alley because it does have a lot of those building and designing and management mechanics, which makes for a great game in my opinion. So you'll get to design world-class courses, terraforming the wastelands into lush fairways and pristine greens to ensure you get a really satisfying putt every time. It won't just be about the golf courses themselves, although they are very important, but you also need to make sure that you build a golfing paradise, complete with all of the facilities that your members will require, like shops, clubhouses, training facilities, pools, bars, and of course you need to make sure all your staff are on point too. This is already looking like a fantastic Tycoon pick, and it does have a open beta out at the moment that you can join on Steam. Definitely check this one out if you love a good Tycoon game. In this game, you will play as a young legend on a quest to discover her past and secure her future. Fading Echoes is a exploration adventure game with a bit of environmental puzzle solving in there too, and it sees you use water as a weapon in all of the different forms that water takes. You'll actually transform between human and liquid forms in this game to be able to navigate the landscapes and be able to battle a lot of the dangers. So it's got some really interesting mechanics in there because it's not just about exploring this world and figuring out how to get through, but it's also about like what form of water you should take. Should you be an evaporative mist? Should you be a puddle? Should you be a drop? Well, it's really up to you. This one is looking absolutely incredible and is absolutely one to put on your wish list if you love a good adventure exploration game. Narrative puzzle lovers, this next game is for you. Ministry of Order was just announced, and this one is a narrative logic puzzler set in the 1920s in a maternity ward. So this game sees you work shifts at a maternity ward desk, and you need to match up parents with their babies by matching things like their eye color, their blood type, and it's kind of like a simplified genetics puzzle. Your salary is based off your performance, so you'll need to match enough correctly to be able to pay your rent and buy food and things like that. But essentially that's the bulk of the gameplay. Outside of that, you will have colleagues drop by and branching dialogue choices to kind of see how you interact with each one. This one has a really cool underlying conspiracy vibe in there and is absolutely a game for people who love kind of Papers, Please style mechanics or narrative driven games. It's definitely one to watch. If you're looking for a cozier spin on the survival game genre, then Winterborough is absolutely one to have on your list. This one sees you play as a mouse returning home to restore your childhood burrow. So you'll need to explore, you'll need to gather resources, you'll need to craft, you'll need to knit warm sweaters, of course, and bake pies, because they're obviously essential to survival. The game is set in the winter, so you'll need to kind of navigate this cold, frozen wilderness to be able to collect resources. And there are different dangers as well. So there are things like local wildlife that might make things a bit tricky, but this is a play at your own pace kind of game too. So it's definitely a cozier spin on survival. If you're looking for a cozier horror game, if that's even possible, and one that's also co-op, then Haunted Paws is one that you should definitely keep your eye on. This one sees you play with a friend and you play as these two cute dogs embarking on adventures. So this one is full of mysteries that you need to solve, and you play as these cute puppies that are able to dig, sniff, bark, and all the fun puppy things. But of course, you also need to get your brave pants on in this one, as your human friend has been kidnapped by evil creatures and imprisoned in a haunted mansion. So to free her, you will need to face various horrors. This one looks absolutely adorable, and it's definitely more of a spooky game as opposed to like a horror game, and is definitely one to keep an eye on. If you love games like The Sims, then you'll be happy to know that there is an alternative game coming later this year, and that game is called Paralives. So this one is an upcoming life simulation game where you'll build your own house, you'll create characters, and you'll manage their lives. This one comes with gridless building, which is really cool, and also has things like curved walls, split level floors, custom shaped stairs, and full color and texture customization. And you also have a pretty advanced Parafolk creator, which lets you create really complex and intricate characters. You can choose your career, you can take care of your pet, you can find true love, you can spend time with your friends and your family, you can explore hobbies, explore the neighborhood in what is looking like a fantastic life sim that will hopefully be a Sims competitor. This one just announced its release date and it is coming in December this year, so definitely wishlist this one to follow along. And last but certainly not least, if you are looking for a game that really captures forward driving and exploration, then Over the Hill is definitely one to watch. So you'll explore the world in the golden age of off-roading, driving iconic vehicles from the 60s to the 80s by yourselves or with friends, and you'll get to drive through some pretty challenging trails and some pretty stunning scenery. So this one has a whole lot of different biomes inspired by real world locations. So you'll navigate your way through valleys and mountains and pretty much everything in between. You'll travel to different areas, unlock new vehicles, upgrades, customizations, and cosmetics. This one is really cool because you can actually play co-op too, so you can actually go on all these adventures with your friends. Over the Hill also has a whole camping side to it, so you can actually set up a campsite and get some rest as part of your trip, which is really cool. It's essentially just like a forward driving simulator game, which is awesome. This one is probably a great pick for people who love games like SnowRunner or those driving kind of simulation games, but you want like a real forward driving kind of game. This game needs to go on your wish list. Welcome to Spill the Tea, the part of the show where we get to talk about, things that are going on in the indie game industry. And of course, this week it is Steam Next Fest. So we couldn't do the show without coming up with some of our favorite picks for Steam Next Fest. And today I am joined by a special guest. We are welcoming Cleaver of Oz to the show to give us his Next Fest picks. Now, if you don't know Cleaver of Oz, he is an Australian streamer. He plays a lot of chaotic games. He loves his driving sims and a whole bunch of other stuff. You can find him on Twitch. And yeah, we're just going to chat about some of our favorite games that we're looking out for in Next Fest. We have very different tastes, so this is going to be very interesting. I'm going to kick off my Steam Next Fest picks with a cozy-ish kind of game, and that game is called Lost and Found Co. So this one is a hidden object game, but it's kind of a hidden object game with a twist, because the world that the objects are hidden in it's kind of quirky. So you will basically go on an adventure as the main character, and you'll travel through all of these different locales that kind of bring a childhood nostalgia kind of feel to them. So there are a bunch of lost items that you need to return to their rightful owners in this one, and there are literally thousands of interactive characters and objects, so there's a lot to do. It is a single player game with a story campaign, so there is a storyline going on in there too. And yeah, pretty much it just looks like a really wholesome puzzle game that you can just find cute things. The world moves too, like it's not a stagnant kind of puzzle game. So yeah, this one looks really, really fantastic, and I'm very keen to try the demo for this one.
Hey guys, I've been checking out demos on Next Fest, and one of the ones I've been looking forward to for a while now is Cleared Hot. It's like an upgrade remake to Desert Strike and that sort of caliber of game. You fly a helicopter around and blow lots of stuff up. It's actually pretty cool. The demo's a lot of fun. There's only 4 missions in the demo from memory, but it plays really well. I love Desert Strike back in the day. I'm talking 90s games here. So this upgrade to Cleared Hot is just massive for me. The physics in the game are really cool to play around with as well. Some of the things you can do is pick up people off the ground and fling them across the landscape to their death, and it's just really well done, and I think it's something you should definitely be putting on your wish list for when it comes out.
For my next pick, I have an Australian made game which we all know that I am a big fan of, and that is a game called The Drifter. So this one is a narrative kind of psychological horror style game, and you basically play as this Aussie guy Mick who kind of gets murdered, but that's not where life ends for him, because his consciousness is actually thrown back into his body, and he gets to kind of keep living in order for him to figure out what has happened. So he actually ends up getting framed for a killing, and there's all of this mystery and all of these kind of interesting, intriguing vibes going on there. It is a point and click kind of game, so it is fast-paced storytelling, point and click, side kind of scrolling, pixel art, and it's just got a really cool vibe. If you love a good narrative-driven game, but with kind of that more psychological horror, puzzle, mystery kind of feel to it, this is absolutely one to keep an eye on. And of course, check out the demo for. It is actually releasing in July, so this is absolutely one to try now, and then you can play the full game next month.
Right, my next pick for Next Fest would be Voyages of Nera. It's a story-driven survival crafter, I would say. So there's building, crafting in it, a lot of crafting, sailing around, and lots of story-driven missions to do. It has sort of like I would say along the lines of Sea of Thieves sort of vibe to it, with the art and the graphic style. But it is quite a nice looking game. With lots of depth there. I'm really, really excited to see the full release, which comes out on the 5th of August. It's a co-op with up to 10 people, but it is early access. It'll be.
Yeah, I'm so keen for Voyages of Nera. It's been on my list for forever.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun with it. There was only a few of us playing. but it did play really well.
So for my next pick, I have a cozy voxel art style building game called Town to City. So this one is a city builder game, but it's more of a sandbox sort of game. So you can pretty much freely place houses, shops, amenities, all those things to be able to build up your city. It is made by the same people who did Station to Station, which is the stunning voxel art train puzzle game. So it's a similar style. It's very, very beautiful. And it just, like, honestly, it just looks like a really stunning game. There is management stuff in it, so it's not sandbox completely. You do have that management element to it. You'll need to meet the needs of your population. You need to build amenities. You need to assign workers to jobs and research new buildings. So it does have those city builder qualities in there, but it definitely is more of a free-form city builder kind of style. And it's absolutely stunning. It's definitely one that is worth checking out if you are a city builder fan. And it's a cozy one too, so it's perfect for cozy gamers.
Cozy city builder, that sounds inspiring.
It looks so good. It's so pretty.
I don't mind a good city builder. I don't care if it's cozy or not. That doesn't bother me. Next on my list is Ground of Aces, which is a military air base simulator. I wouldn't call it a simulator. It's sort of like a builder in the vein of, I would say, Prison Architect, or it's sort of like RimWorld as well, in where you manage a base from the ground up. So I think when you start, you build your airstrip and you start building all of your facilities and the ability to get new men and new aircraft as you progress through the missions. So it's sort of like a bit of a management overseer of an airbase set in World War II, which is pretty cool. The game's available in July this year, so definitely not far away. You can go and wishlist it now on Steam.
All right, next up on my list, I have a game that is pretty highly anticipated, and that game is Strange Antiquities. So this is not a direct sequel, but it's in the same kind of universe as Strange Horticulture, which is a very popular indie game for good reason. And this one sees you manage an antique shop. So it does kind of have a lot of similarities in the mechanics for the game as Strange Horticulture, but in a completely kind of different theme. So you'll get to examine and identify and catalog different strange artifacts. And when you're dealing with them, your choices matter. So you'll need to figure out exactly what you want to do. You have people that come in with their artifacts and you will need to help or hinder them. It's completely up to you. And of course, there's a whole bunch of different artifacts to uncover, different tools that you can use, all of that sort of thing. This one is already looking fantastic, and it is perfect if you love kind of more of a occult puzzle point and click style game with a bit of story in there and a lot of just weird stuff in there too. And the demo is of course out as part of Steam Next Fest, so you can go and give it a go.
Next on my list, which is one of my top picks, is Jump Ship. Jump Ship is a really cool FPS co-op for up to 4-player PvP extravaganza. That's probably my best description. The universe has been taken over by AI bots, and you have to work your way through a story. There are story missions there and stuff like that, where you repair your ship and start gathering resources to build better ships or upgrade your ship. There's a mission board where you can choose the missions that range from trivial to very hard, but it has FPS as well as the flight mechanics of the game, as well as running around inside your ship and managing shields, engine. There's a power management board and all sorts of stuff in there. It just has a lot going for it. The game looks stunning, plays really well. There's a demo on Steam right now. Definitely go and get it. Get a couple of your friends together and give it a crack. It really is a cracking game, and it's definitely one to put on your wish list.
And the lucky last pick for Steam Next Fest for June 2025 that I have is probably one of the most anticipated games at the moment, and that is Moonlighter 2. So we are seeing the very first demo for this game as part of Steam Next Fest, which is very exciting, and I'm very excited for this sequel. So Moonlighter 2 is the sequel to Moonlighter, and it is a RPG, action, adventure, roguelike game where it is part dungeon crawling, resource gathering, action, hack and slash type mechanics, and part shopkeeping. So you actually go and venture out into these mysterious lands, aka the different dungeons, and you collect all of these artifacts or different things, and then you bring them back to your shop and sell them. So this one, the first game is very popular. And for good reason. It's got a really good gameplay loop, and it's got a really good style and just a really good feel. I really love it when they combine two different genres like this, so you have that management sim stuff with the action stuff in there, and Moonlighter 2 looks like it's going to be just more of that. It's set in the land of Tresna, so you have different locals to meet and different areas to explore, so it is a different game to Moonlighter, and it's had quite a big graphical upgrade too. But yeah, the first demo is out as part of Steam Next Fest, and it is absolutely one well worth checking out. It's saying summer 2025 release, and if we're going American summer, then that should be in the next couple of months. So this is a really good chance to get hands-on with this game before it comes out in a couple of months.
Okay, here's my absolute banger of a pick for Next Fest that I've played the demo of. I've streamed it. I fell in love with it as soon as I started playing it, and that is Khan. It's a mountain climbing game that just blew me away. I've played through Jusant, which I really, really enjoyed, but the difference here for me is Khan is, well, how do I best put this? You can climb anywhere. The game mechanics are so satisfying. There's a really intuitive climbing system that really gives you satisfying holds and grabs and stuff like that. You control each limb individually as well as you climb, and it just has such an amazing feel to it. There's no hand holding in this game that I could sort of tell. Even the tutorial is just like, here's this climbing center, go and climb these 3 walls, and then that's your tutorial. Here's how to use a piton, or put a piton in, which has got a little mini game to put it in, which I'll tell you is more difficult than it seems, especially when you're about to fall from a great height and die. It's an absolutely beautiful looking little game. I shouldn't say little, because I think it's going to be pretty big. The demo is out now on Steam. It has survival aspects in it as well, where you can forage for things. In the demo, there's this large arch you can climb up that has a beehive in there that you can get honey out of. And then when you camp, you can turn some of the stuff you've foraged, like raspberries, thistle, dandelions, and the like, and the honey, of course, into drinks and food items that you can store and use later. It's just a beautiful game to play, and I absolutely highly recommend it. Go and grab the demo right now. It's on Steam. It's absolutely amazing. I think you'll be blown away. If you want something different to play, this is it.
Taste test.
All right, we've talked a lot about games that are upcoming, or games that you should check out the demos for, but now it's time to talk about the games that I've actually been playing. It's time for this week's taste test. This week, I have been checking out a co-op puzzle game called Parallel Experiment. Now, this one is actually the 3rd game in the series, so the Cryptic Killer series. There is a free prologue, I believe it's free, and then there is Unboxing the Cryptic Killer, and then this is the 3rd one, Parallel Experiment. So this one is co-op, so you do have to have a second player to play it with, and you do both have to own the game to be able to play together. But you play as 2 detectives, figuring out who this cryptic killer is. I really enjoy a good puzzle game, and this one absolutely ticked all the boxes in terms of those environmental kind of puzzle games. Something that Unboxing the Cryptic Killer did really well, that they've also done really well in Parallel Experiment, is the puzzles that require you to really work together to be able to solve. Communication is absolutely one of the most important things in this game. If you don't have good communication, you're probably going to have a really challenging time, because a lot of the time you need to describe what you're seeing or what a symbol looks like or what a picture looks like to be able to actually solve any of the puzzles. The story itself follows pretty much straight off the back of the Unboxing the Cryptic Killer game, where the Cryptic Killer has just gotten away and your boss is not very happy with you and has given you a 24-hour deadline to solve the case. But you're actually thrown into the end of that 24-hour period and you are trapped in separate rooms by the Cryptic Killer. And it's just like it's a roller coaster from start to finish. I don't want to give too much away, but there's a lot of detective, there's a lot of mystery, there's a lot of puzzle solving in this one. The puzzles are fantastic. I think the puzzles in this are probably some of the best puzzle mechanics I've seen in a game like this, and doing it in a co-op way so that you each have to have different parts of the puzzle or you have to work together to solve the puzzles is really, really well done. The art style is fantastic, the music is fantastic, the voice acting is fantastic, and it just kind of ticks all the boxes of a really satisfying puzzle game. It's on the shorter side, it's about 3-ish hours I think it took us to get through, but it is perfect for spending a night in. You can actually make a whole couple of series out of it if you want. I would absolutely recommend playing the prologue, which is about an hour, and then Unboxing the Cryptic Killer, which is about 2 hours, and then playing this one, because all three together are just fantastic. Absolutely, highly, highly recommend this one, especially if you are a puzzle fanatic like me. If you love games like Stacklands or those card clicking resource management style games, then this next game that I've been checking out this week is well worth a look. So the game is called Sizzle and Stack, and it is basically a cooking simulation game, but done with cards. So you have these card packs that you get, you click them and cards pop out, and these are your resources, and then you have all these different recipes that you need to make for your customers. So you do have tool cards, so things like a knife or a frying pan or a pot or a pasta maker, and you basically need to stack the right ingredients on top of the right tool to be able to create the meals for your customers. Now, it starts off pretty simple in this one. You start with kind of breakfast foods, and as you progress, things get more and more complicated, and you'll find that you need to have a lot of steps before you can create something. So things like a cheeseburger, you need to dice the meat and then cut the meat again, and then that makes a patty, and then you need to fry the patty, and then you need to combine that with a bun. And to make a bun, you need to make dough. And to make dough, you need to combine flour and milk, and then you need to fry the dough before it'll turn into a bun. So it gets kind of complicated the further on in the game you get. In terms of the actual gameplay, I really enjoyed it. It has this weird addictive quality that keeps me coming back for just another run. It is run based, it's not roguelite, so things reset completely at the start of each run. But you do have upgrades that you can purchase after each day that help make things easier, so you can increase how many cards you can keep on the board at the end of each day. You can buy extras of different tools, so you can buy 2 pans, 2 knives, things like that. And you can buy things like a supply chest that will duplicate whatever card you put on top of it. So just different things that make life a lot easier. I will say that the game has a couple of bugs in there. Things like sometimes you'd go to grab a card and you might not click it properly, and then it moves the entire screen, so you move off the screen completely. There's no like reset key that I could find that would make that kind of reset you to the center of the board. So that got a little bit annoying, especially in a game that is kind of time management based. It also felt like it was kind of tricky to work out a lot of the recipes. So as you go, the recipes get more complicated, and you do get recipe cards that come out of some of the packs, but there are some cards that just don't come out, and it's really tricky to work out exactly what the recipes are. The good thing is once you figure out the recipe, you do keep it. So you keep that knowledge through each run, but it did feel like it was a little bit like difficult because you basically have to experiment and figure out the different recipes, which can be time consuming and can basically end your entire run if you don't do it properly. I also wish there was a auto sort key, which I know is probably not the point, but that would be very handy just to be able to sort all your cards into their own ingredients, because as you buy more packs of the different cards, things can get very cluttered, especially when you're looking for specific ingredients and they don't pop up until you buy like 4 different packs. But overall, this is one of those games that is simple. It's not anything super like intricate or super like fancy graphics or super fancy soundtrack or anything like that. It's kind of like basic, not in a bad way, but just more of a basic style game. But it really hooked me and it really kept me wanting to play more. Even now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, I could just do another run. That would be cool. So it's well worth checking out, especially if you love a good card resource game. And I think there is a demo out as well for it. So definitely check the demo out too, just to get a feel for it. But it is one I would highly recommend checking out. That is where we are going to wrap up this week's episode of the Indie Brew Show. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I hope you found something to play. I apologize that your wish list has probably grown, but you know, that's what we do here. That's what we do. We spill the tea on indie games and we fill your wish list to the brim. If you're looking for more indie game content, the channel is absolutely stacked with reviews, playthroughs, recommendations, you name it, there's probably something in our content for you. And of course, we have the website as well, which is full of reviews, articles, news, everything you can imagine. You can head to theindiebrew.com.au for all of your indie game needs. And until next time, stay caffeinated.